July 31st, 1955, Las Vegas. Tony Cornero walked into the Desert Inn casino that morning for a business meeting. He needed money, $800,000 to be exact. He was trying to finish building what he believed would be the biggest hotel in the world. The meeting did not go well, so Tony did what Tony always did when things got difficult. He went to the craps table, he played for hours, he ate, he drank, he threw the dice one last time, then he fell to the floor, dead. Here is what happened next. His body was carried off the casino floor before anyone called a doctor. His drinking glass was picked up and washed. No autopsy was ever done. And within days, the mob took over his unfinished casino. That casino became the Stardust, one of the most famous mob casinos in Las Vegas history. But here is the thing nobody talks about. Tony Cornero spent 30 years building something the law could not touch and the mob could not take. He built a casino on a ship in the middle of the ocean, 3 miles off the California coast, completely legal. The police came for him. He turned fire hoses on them. The mob came for him. He got shot twice and survived. The government came for him. He fought them in court and won. In the end, it was not the law that got him. It was not the mob either. This is the story of Tony Cornero, the Admiral, the man who beat everyone until he didn't. In 1938, gambling was illegal in California. Full stop. Not even run a slot machine. The law was clear. But Tony Cornero found a gap in the law, a very specific gap, 3 miles wide. California law only covered land and water up to 3 miles from the coast. After that, international waters, federal territory, and the federal government had no law against gambling on ships. So Tony's plan was simple: build a casino, put it on a ship, anchor it exactly 3.1 miles off the Santa Monica coast, not 2.9 miles, not 3 miles, 3.1 miles, just far enough that California law could not touch it. Then run water taxis from Santa Monica Pier to the ship, 25 cents per ride, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The law could watch from the shore. They could not do a single thing about it. Tony Cornero spent $200,000 converting a giant old fishing barge. It had been used to store live bait for fishermen, so it smelled absolutely terrible, into a floating casino. He named it the SS Rex. He anchored it on May 5th, 1938, and then he waited to see if anyone would come. Just months after the Rex opened, the Los Angeles District Attorney Burton Fitts got into a water taxi and sailed out to the ship with the county sheriff and the Santa Monica police chief. Tony let them board. He got arrested. He was released on bail the same afternoon. He sued the state. He argued Santa Monica Bay was not technically a bay. It was a bight, a coastal indentation, which meant the 3-mile limit started further out than the police claimed. The court agreed with the police. Tony appealed. The appeals court agreed with Tony. He went right back to running the Rex. Then came Earl Warren. Warren was the California Attorney General at the time. Warren changed strategy. He stopped arguing about where the water ended. Instead, he called the Rex a public nuisance. He argued that states had the power to shut down a nuisance even if it sat outside state territory. He got a court order. He assembled a fleet of police boats, 250 officers, all heading for the Rex at the same time. They shut down every other gambling ship easily. The crews surrendered. The equipment was thrown into the ocean. Then they reached the SS Rex. Tony had barricaded the gangway. He had armed gunmen on deck, and he had the ship's fire hoses pointed directly at the approaching police boats. The water hit the police boats before they got within 50 feet of the ship. Tony stood on the deck and shouted, "Nobody is coming aboard this ship. We are on the high seas and we are prepared to defend our rights." The police sat in their boats. Tony's crew blasted them with water. The newspapers called it the Battle of Santa Monica Bay. It lasted 9 days. Tony held off the entire California law enforcement apparatus for 9 days from the deck of an old fishing barge. On the 9th day, the ship ran out of food. It ran out of alcohol. The crew was exhausted, and Tony finally surrendered. His reason? Quote, "Because I need a haircut." The police boarded the Rex and threw every piece of gambling equipment into Santa Monica Bay. The roulette wheels, the slot machines, the card tables, all of it, gone. Tony walked away without a single charge against him. The court said Warren's tactics were legal. The gambling ships were finished in California. Tony Cornero was not. Here is something you need to understand about Tony Cornero. In 30 years of operating casinos, he never joined the mob, never paid them a percentage, never asked for their protection, never partnered with them. In the casino world of the 1930s and 1940s, that was almost impossible. The mob taxed everything, every casino, every card room, every bookie operation. You paid or you got hurt. Tony refused every time. The first time he refused was when he ran a land casino called the Meadows outside Las Vegas. The New York mob bosses sent someone to tell Tony he owed them a percentage. Tony said no. The Meadows burned to the ground shortly after. Tony built the Rex instead, on the water, where the mob had no power. He was not just finding a legal loophole, he was finding a way to run a casino without paying anyone a tax. After the Battle of Santa Monica Bay, Tony tried to open a new gambling ship. He tried Mexico. He tried other locations. The mob did not like the idea of Californians spending their money outside Nevada. One night, Tony came home to his house in Beverly Hills. Someone was waiting inside. They shot him twice. He survived. The doctors pulled both bullets out. When the police came to ask questions, Tony told them nothing. He did not know who did it. He had no idea. Nothing to report. He knew exactly who did it. He said nothing because in his world saying something was more dangerous than saying nothing. Tony Cornero had been shot twice, had his casino burned down, had his floating casino destroyed by the police, and had been arrested more times than anyone could count. He was still standing. He was 50 years old, and he had one more idea. Las Vegas in the early 1950s was becoming something new. The mob was pouring money into it. Big hotels, proper casinos, the kind of operation that made Tony's floating barge look small. Tony had a new idea. Not a ship, a hotel. The biggest hotel in the world. He called it the Stardust. The plan was simple. Build 1,500 rooms, charge very cheap prices, bring in ordinary people, not just high rollers, and make money on volume. Every casino in Las Vegas at that time was chasing wealthy customers. Tony wanted everyone else. There was one problem. Tony kept running out of money. Building the biggest hotel in the world cost more than you think it will cost. Then it cost more again. Tony went looking for investors, and the only people with enough money to invest in a Las Vegas casino in 1953 were the same people Tony had spent his entire career avoiding. The mob, not all at once. It never happens all at once. First one investor with mob connections, then a loan from someone connected to someone, then another partner, then another loan. Each loan came with terms. Each partner wanted a say. Slowly, deal by deal, the Stardust was being taken away from Tony Cornero while he was still trying to build it. By 1955, Tony was surrounded. Mo Dalitz, the Cleveland mob operative who ran the Desert Inn, was involved. The Chicago outfit had a position. The total debt was over $4 million. The man who spent his whole life operating outside the system was completely inside it, and he needed $800,000 more to finish the job. July 31st, 1955. The Desert Inn, Mo Dalitz's casino. Tony walked into a meeting with his investors. He told them he needed $800,000 more dollars. The meeting did not go well. The investors said no, or they said maybe, or they said we need more time. Tony walked to the craps table. He played for several hours. He ate dinner. He had a drink. He threw the dice one final time. Then he collapsed on the casino floor. Here is what happened next, and pay attention because the details matter. His body was moved off the casino floor before any doctor was called, before the coroner arrived, before the sheriff's department was notified. His drinking glass was taken from the table and washed. No autopsy was ever performed. Tony Cornero was buried 2 days later before any official investigation could take place. The official cause of death, heart attack. Nobody tested anything. Nobody examined anything. The most important piece of evidence, the glass, was clean. Tony Cornero died at a craps table in a casino owned by his enemies. His evidence was destroyed before anyone could examine it. And within days, the Stardust, the casino he spent years and millions building, was handed over to the same mob bosses he had spent his entire career refusing to work for.